In this video, what I'm going to be doing is showing off to you some of the very cool and interesting Fallout 4 mod releases that we saw over the past week or so, with one particular focus on a DLC-sized mod that just recently came out and that you're probably going to want to experience. And in fact, this is actually the first mod to release from my DLC-sized mod video I released a couple of weeks ago now. In that, I looked at the 12 large-scale upcoming mods for Fallout 4. I'll probably be covering every single one as they do come out, but again, here we are with the very first. If you want to see that full video though, you can click on the eye in the corner. But otherwise, starting things off, let's first take a look at the machine and her. One point of clarification before we jump into this: as of right now, this is only on PC, but it's coming to consoles. Right now, it's just going through some final bug fixing and stability improvements on consoles, but then it will be released there also, so keep an eye out. In effect, what the machine and her is going to be is really a companion mod when it boils down to it. But unlike some other companion mods out there, this is pretty much a full DLC-sized experience in Fallout 4, taking you on a new adventure, hearing about a new story that involves several new characters and locations. I would say there's a couple of dynamics with this one. You have some of the new features implemented into the game, most of these around this new companion. That's something that's permanent, that you'll have for the entire duration of you using this mod, even after you complete the main quest. But on the other side of things, what to me is really making this one stand out and making it such a hit among so many people is the story itself, as this mod actually has a really well done and engaging story that of course is fully voiced. The real core of the machine and her is going to be around the new companion added in, that with Kit. One thing that's actually pretty cool about this mod is you actually get her as a companion right off the bat. So right at the first quest with this one, she's available to you, and then if you don't want to do the main story of this one, you actually can go continue to play Fallout 4 with your new and pretty cool companion. But what you're more likely to do is actually continue with the new story. What this is going to be focused around is Kit's mysterious backstory and what or where she actually comes from, but even further, the deep, dark, and mysterious story around Agnes. Agnes in-game is basically a smart assistant. Think like an Amazon Alexa, a Siri, but it has its own Fallout take on it, meaning it's very 50s to 60s themed, and there's actually a lot of cool implementations of this in-game. Agnes in the story really acts as her own character, and there's a lot of stuff to find out about this. It's one of the major parts of this quest as you progress through it, and kind of leads you into some of the other mysteries. There's a lot of factors going into what makes this quest so interesting. The voice acting is really well done.
And I'll get you pointed in the right direction.
Okay, Agnes. Why don't I give our visitor a quick tour of the station myself?
Well, that would be just fine, young lady.
Come on. We'll start with the bathroom.
All the audio is very clear and it sounds professional. It also takes you again to new and unique locations, so it's not like you're just going to be rehashing that same place yet again, but rather new custom interiors. You'll meet a bunch of new characters along the way. There'll be various choices for you to make, and these are choices with some pretty genuine consequence, but we'll talk more about that in a moment. But really, one of my favorite parts about this story was the constant theme of mystery. You want to progress from one quest to the next and just keep going and going because there was always another question that you were trying to get to the bottom of. What exactly is Kit? Where did she come from? Who were these strange people she was interacting with? What is Agnes? Why does she have some kind of weird and mysterious backstory? Why isn't she working properly right at the start of this? Why does she want one thing while Kit wants something totally separate for her? And then you have to decide who's right and who's wrong. As you progress through the story, you'll find out more in the way of answers to those questions. But even further, again, there is consequence here. This is a story that has multiple different outcomes. The outcome you get will be dependent on the decisions and actions you take during this. Based on the decisions you make around Kit, you have the opportunity to raise her trust so she becomes more trusting of you. This will have one role in affecting some of the outcomes, but also you can increase or decrease her cynicism. She has certain talents that she isn't necessarily trying to embrace right off the bat. If you push her towards that darker side, she will be very good at certain things, but will also have certain results. Alternatively, you can try and draw her away from that, and that will also carry a different outcome. Sometimes during the story, there are obvious instances where this comes into play, but also it's a reflection of how you're acting. Are you kind to other people in the wasteland? Are you not kind to other people in the wasteland? Do you steal a lot? It's a pretty cool system where it's impacted by the vanilla Fallout 4 story in addition to the concrete decisions you make during these quests. So all around, for me at least, the story is one of the biggest selling points. It's interesting, awesome, but fortunately, even after that is complete and you do get some pretty special rewards at the end of it, you also now do have a fully fledged companion as well as several other new features features. So Kit herself has quite a few interesting features. She actually has this little radio. It'll allow you to customize certain things about her, how aggressive she will be, so how quickly she is to just run up to a high level enemy versus not, her combat style, so whether she's going to be ranged or melee or something in between, but also she has a really well implemented hacking and lockpick system. A lot of companions can hack things and lockpick, but no other companion can actually do it just by you looking at the door and clicking R. No more of trying to use the whole command system in Fallout 4 that's very frustrating and obnoxious. As she does this more and more, she will get better at it, able to clear through some of the higher tier locks. She has this really cool bark system, so basically, as you know, as you're fighting raiders, they'll just say various lines during combat. Well, Kit will actually respond to those, sometimes with a simple response, other times with a very witty and funny response. Just really refreshing to hear someone actually talk back to the raider lines that you're so used to hearing.
Just get warmed up over here.
Too bad, because you're about to get real cold, real fast.
And for all that wasn't enough, there also is a fully fledged radio with 50 songs attached to it, and also a fully voiced DJ to go along with it. You get this pretty early on in the quest, and it actually is a pretty nice addition to the game. It's been receiving a lot of praise, even independent of all the other features. So all in all, this is a lengthy experience, over 5 hours with the story alone, but as you probably could have just heard, there's a lot more outside of just the story. It's a great addition to the game, and it's actually really well implemented. It's mostly using new locations, so there's not going to be a lot of conflicting with other mods, even similar ones, and I could see this one being a mainstay on a lot of load orders or mod lists going forward. But with a great new mod like this to experience, maybe you want a couple of other things to kind of spice things up, such as a new weapon mod in the Sjogren Inertia. What it's going to be is a new shotgun in Fallout 4. This is going to be added in with a new quest to get it. It's actually very simple. It'll more or less just take you to one location. From there, you'll find the weapon sitting there and you do have full access to it. There's kind of a secondary part to the quest, going to a separate location, taking down a few enemies. That'll give you some of the configuration options if you want to do that. But from there, it's actually very simple in terms of customization. You can change the barrel and stock length, actually change the materials to be dirty or clean, and of course some other things like receiver damage and how much ammo it'll hold. But I would say one of the coolest aspects of this weapon, outside of just the visuals, is the animations on this are really well done. There's something pretty cool and unique about the shell ejection and how it kind of opens up at the top there each time it cocks back. Hopefully the video is doing a much better job at conveying that compared to me trying to verbally say it, but it's a pretty cool one. It's a very simple weapon mod that's integrated into the game nicely. It's not lore friendly per se, but of course it fits in pretty well. And even further, it's just quite a bit of fun to use against enemies or even during this new quest mod you might want to try. Outside of that though, we also do have the Apocalypse Survival set. This is another pretty simple one. It's going to be this outfit. It doesn't really feature anything in the way of customization options, but one of the reasons I like this is it naturally fits in really well with Fallout 4's landscape. It looks like something somebody in a survival situation might wear. I know a lot of you guys have liked content like this I've shown off on the channel in the past, so I figured I'd give this one a shout out also. I'll have links to all of those mods down below if you are interested in trying them or checking them out. Both all that being said, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, hopefully the Machine and Her will be on Xbox in just a few days to a week, so I would keep an eye out for that. With all that being said, I thank you for watching again, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.
Win this?